Okay, seems everything's working. So, this is the early bird special MLB the Show gameplay live stream. Uh, I have lost the ability to sleep in past the time I wake up for work just about every day, and since I don't have anybody really that's in my life that's awake this early in the morning, I kind of just like waking up and playing some MLB the Show. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you the rundown of what's going on. And obviously, this is my first live stream on this channel. The only experience I kind of have doing stuff like this is for the college I went to. I was a part of their sports communications and media team where we would make and produce the live streams for our sporting events on campus. And typically I was either doing camera work, once or twice I was the producer of the production, picking camera angles and doing things of that nature. But only once or twice did I get to be the one who was. I did a couple baseball games, and I PA announced a handful of baseball games while I was doing that stuff, while I was doing the live scoring, which was pretty cool. I used to be a baseball player, and in my playing days, we all kept the book once or twice. Everybody had their say when it came to whether that was a single with an error or a double, So we've all played that game a little bit if you've played baseball. And for a couple games, they actually let me do the play-by-play commentary, like talking over the baseball game that was happening. So that stuff was all pretty cool. Now, this should have a little bit different energy, and just content creation wise is I watch a fair amount of streams myself, and even more than that, I watch a fair amount of YouTube videos on YouTube that are just VODs that have been taken to YouTube. And now I have been a little under the weather for the last couple weeks, so I'm gonna be cautious with clearing my throat and blowing my nose and things of that nature. I know it's kind of gross. Even kind of when I listened to the video of the pack opening I did the other day, there was a little bit more extraneous noise that the mic was picking up than I was hopeful for, but what are you going to do sometimes? So, just taking a look here is played a couple of the event games, got a little bit done. I played two, and in a third one, I was making lunch at the same time, and my pause timer ran out when I was making lunch. But making our way towards Freddy Peralta is kind of what we're going to do later on in this. For now, I have a good number of packs. Went ahead and hit the best thing on my first XP reward path roll since we're here. So you could see almost all of my assorted programs were done. Got and sold my first inning boss pack. Just took whoever was selling more for that first time when I got that. And like I said, hit that diamond roll on my first PXP roll. And for the second one, I got one of those premier WBC packs. So I played the New Threads mini season all the way through twice, and I would have only done it once. And I really like that when you are playing mini seasons that you can do the 7 game seasons and your games are 3 innings long. That made mini seasons just feel like a better version of Conquest. And at this point, since all my assorted programs are done, I'm pretty much just making some progress on some team affinity stuff, just because you might as well make your innings on the mound count when you're working towards stuff. I mean, if we just hop in here, there are packs in here, there is XP in here, all that good stuff. So, just going through every team here, you can see I got the Phillies done, got the Braves done, the Pirates are done, got a couple that I haven't started working towards yet. The Brewers are almost done. Just need to throw a game with CC. Getting close on the Dodgers. Just need to do some hitting stats with them. And then just a quick little look here. So this would be what my rank season team I think would probably be looking like. And then something I like to do is I like to use all 4 lineups here. So I called them the Bus Riders. I think last year I called this team the Coffee Ground team, or like Grinds to Java, Beans to Java. That's what I called it. So when I was on a college baseball team, they liked to call the boys who got to go on road trips and played every day, they called them the Bus Riders. So I tried to kind of refer back to that, and that, like, this is kind of like the grind team. Now, I always think it's nice to use one of these spaces just to work towards what you're working towards. So if I wasn't doing my new threads grinding in mini seasons, I probably would have, this lineup would be full of new threads cards. But you can probably guess just by looking at it, is I was working on the Brewers team affinity at that time when I made this lineup. Well, we can go ahead and actually adjust this lineup, because I will not be playing in mini seasons this morning. Going to be finishing up the USA Conquest map, and then hopefully that won't take too long, because my goal after that is going to be opening all of those packs that I get from the USA Conquest map, along with all of the packs that I already have had. Because, and I know Real Shelfie says this, and I've been watching him for a long time, I even actually played him in a Battle Royale run last year, which was pretty cool. Is I'm going to go ahead and construct this lineup with the Phillies in an effort to finish them out. I will go check in on how many total bases I need for them, because I should be getting pretty close on that. And I will just fill this lineup out with Phillies. I'll leave Ronald in. I hope Ronald's going to be my first P5 card of the year. And we'll do it the right way today, especially since we're in Conquest, is I'll just fill out a squad almost completely with the cards I'm looking for. Now, I will go with the O's. I'll go with the O's in the secondary slot, and I will keep rocking with, let's see who can fill this space for second base. Let's just go with Glaber. Need some more work with some Tiger stuff. And then on the pitching staff, some of the teams I need quite a few innings left. Now, the nice thing about the team affinity stuff is once you unlock that first card, is you're just waiting to get them parallel 1. And then you've gotten their mission for team affinity done. So just gonna load out the squad with the rest of these team affinity diamonds I've unlocked already, and I'll keep Erod there. And bullpen wise, looks like I need an inning with a Marlin. ahead and grab Bender there. Don't need any innings with Mariners, so I'll go ahead and trade him out. I know I need some more innings with Guardians, so I'll put Cade Smith in there. Need some innings with Cubs. I'm looking for Suter there. And need an inning with a Rocky. Best Rocky available, at least in the pen, in my inventory, is Jimmy Herget. And I do know Jimmy had a pretty good year in real life last year. I think he made a lot of appearances and his ERA was serviceable. And a White Sox. I could go for a White Sox reliever. And then I think I'm probably going to be good to load into Conquest. Honestly, was not anticipating a silver option there. And just in case one of these Conquest games starts going poorly, I'll make sure we have some fellas we can turn to reliably get some outs for the team. I'll just throw Morahone in there. So set this lineup. We'll keep Ronald in the one spot, and we'll just fill this lineup out like that. And we can finally hop into some gameplay. Unless alright, so as you can tell, got 3 strongholds left here on the central map, and then I haven't touched the west map. Now, once I start getting bored of the Conquest, I'm probably just going to jump into that pack opening. Took me a decent enough amount of time to finish the New Threads mini season twice that, not that I'm burnt out on it, but the offline grinding, there's a reason they call it grinding, you know.
Here this afternoon, right fielder, number 13, Robert of
Well, and that's a pretty good example of why I want Ronald to be my first P5 card. Now, I'm well aware that that first name boss was a 90 overall version of Ronald, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that Ronald's going to have a pretty decent 2026. In WBC, he looked fantastic. Looked like his legs were playing healthy. He was running hard. Obviously, pretty clear that Team Venezuela had a wonderful WBC. I think any team that wins the championship probably feels that way. But I have a feeling coming off that Venezuela WBC win, plus a full year under his belt, coming off injury as that's been the one thing that's kind of put the negative spin on Ronald's career. But even in his limited action last year, I mean, he had a better 80-ish games than lots of guys 162, and that's just the level of talent that Ronald has. And I got a feeling that's how it's going to be for the Braves pretty much all year. I think they had a couple down years just due to injury. Plus, when you have a handful of guys who are having a down year compared to the back of their baseball card, and it's all happening at the same time, that's what leads to two disappointing seasons like the Braves have had in the last 2 years. And I think as long as Chris Sale stays healthy and he makes 30 starts, I think at this point in his career, he's gonna also kind of get rid of that injury-prone tag. I mean, 2 consecutive years of health is more than lots of major league pitchers can say they have. And since the season just got underway, as we're making this video on March 28th, I did tune into the Braves game for 6 innings yesterday, where it was their season debut. Chris Sale on the mound, and he looked great. Pitched around some traffic. I don't think he gave up a run. I know the Braves were leading pretty comfortably. I think when I tuned in, they were up 2-0. Then Money Mike Harris hit a ball above the chop house. Nice swing. Money Mike, he's one of those guys that he can probably have it click on a little bit more. I mean, obviously he's got that award pedigree with that Rookie of the Year under his belt. If I had to guess, I bet he's been a one-time All-Star, maybe a 2-time All-Star, but he's definitely a high ceiling guy still, and he's one of those guys that I feel like he's probably been in the league for, this is probably year 4, and I would have to bet he's probably 25, 26, and they were playing the Royals. And once again, I feel like Bobby Witt has already been up for 4 or 5 years, and during the broadcast they talked about how Bobby Witt's already on there. He's only 25 still. And definitely we've all seen the youth movement in the MLB. No. J2, catch the ball. Now, I am a whole MLB fan. Thanks to, not sponsored, but I could be. That would be cool. T-Mobile has provided MLB TV with use of their cell phone service for the last 3 years, and that combined with a increased appreciation for the whole league definitely has increased my ability to just tune into a baseball game whenever you want to, and be a fan of the whole league, especially when you see a big name on the mound or anything like that going. It's pretty cool. And now, I can't lie, it's kind of tough to find the balance of, and maybe since it's just a conquest game, it doesn't matter that much. Maybe I'll talk about the actual gameplay a little bit more, and when I'm playing online and stuff like that, I'm sure that'll help me lock in. But I don't think there's anything wrong with just being a little swing happy when you're doing some offline grinding. I mean, I've been yapping since we hopped in this game, and yes, it's on veteran. Trust me, I get it. Nothing special. But being a little swing happy can just make these games go a little quicker. I mean, I'm up 5-0, and I feel like I really couldn't tell you a ton about what's been going on the gameplay right now. And just content creation wise, I am still figuring out, and I'm sure doing some reading would be helpful, is obviously YouTube doesn't really enjoy when there's copyrighted music going and stuff like that, which for me would make me feel like I don't have as much talking to do, because if I'm quiet for a little bit, and I'm saying if I was to start streaming on Twitch, so I could have the stream going on Twitch, you guys have all seen it, I'm sure, where simultaneously streaming on Twitch and on YouTube, and the Twitch stream has background music. I know lots of the popular MLB the Show YouTubers do this, where that stream will have music on it while the YouTube one does not. And then obviously, while I'm still working on the picking a video editing software and doing all this, that, and the other stuff, it would help me talk less, at least for the stream side of stuff. But then I could still figure out what I want to do on the YouTube side of stuff, whether I just want to do what some people do and post the unedited VOD just straight to YouTube. And a couple of the guys that I watch that just do that and have been watching for a long time. So like, I know Northern Lion is one of the biggest streamers out there. I've been watching him since his big SAP era, his big Super Auto Pets era. So let's call that, like, I've been watching Northern Lion for like 4 years now, and I watched a lot of the Yogscast people, and I still really do watch a decent amount of stuff from them, just from the Triforce crew. So Pyrian Flex, Sips, and Lewis Brindley. I listen to the Triforce weekly, and if you know anything about Pyrian Flex and Sips, is one, Pyrian pretty much only live streams, and Sips' channel, Sips Live, is all he does is post directly his VODs as soon as he hits in stream. As his VOD gets posted to YouTube, and that's why he streams on both. But if you did watch that first pack opening video I did on my channel, I mean, literally, since what's happening right now is what's happening, and this has kind of been the case for me for like 2 years at this point, is I'm gonna play the game. I like playing the game, and I figured, why not? If I'm gonna spend all this time doing it anyway, might as well try and make some videos or stream it and stuff like that. Just see what happens. And now we are getting to the point in this game where probably not going to take very many pitches till the end of the game. 9 is plenty, and I've got plenty of more at-bats and innings available this morning for these fellas to get their stat grinds done. Current standout right now is new legend Adam Jones, as he has hit 2 absolute flare jobs the opposite way. One fell for an RBI single in the first inning, and that one just went for a triple here in the second. And this is a fine opportunity to talk about how the team affinity grind is easy. Seems like the math in a couple areas is a little quirky, and that I've had a couple teams where I'm waiting on the 20 runs total to click, or I was an inning short from unlocking that first team affinity diamonds to get that 50 PXP done. But for the most part, if you just play this game, and if you mix in some event runs, you mix in some BR runs where you pick a couple of different guys, or you run some different lineups out there in ranked or anything like that, is for the most part that team affinity grind is going to take care of itself. The only part that really requires some effort is that 100 total bases with every team, and then that's if you're doing what I'm doing, and almost kind of just like half focusing on it. Is I've had a couple teams so far, and I've only got 6 done in total right now. Is I've had 1 or 2 guys that I just like Ronald. Outside of the 3 DR runs I've done, where I know I had like Ozzy Albies and Matt Olson on a couple of runs, is pretty much getting Ronald to his current parallel level at P4. Is he carried the weight of the Braves stats. I mean, if I was gonna go click on Ronald during his next at bat, is he's got more than 15 hits. I'm sure he has more than 5 home runs, which means he's scored at least 25% of the needed run total. All that good stuff, where if you're just background grinding it, eventually you'll get a lot of this stuff done, because the only thing that you have to go out of your way to do is get that 500 PXP with that first diamond you unlock. And it looks like for the most part it is pitchers in that first diamond slot. I know there's been a couple bats that actually were the first one, but for the most part it has been the pitchers. And I think I'm probably not going to go check in on any of the numbers and stuff, since pitching wise I'm kind of just waiting until I see that parallel 1 level pop on the team affinity diamonds. But I believe the last time I checked what Phillies stats I needed, is they still needed every bit of 50 something total bases, maybe just under that. So even with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even with 5 Phillies in my lineup, unless every game's kind of going like this one, where I'm putting up double-digit runs and everybody's hitting the ball in the gap or over the fence, is you got time. So I think the least amount of time you can spend flipping back and forth between the menus is for the better, because it really does slow you down when you have to keep checking, oh, I need this with them, or I need that with them. So might as well just keep playing the game. And then in the rewards screen at the end of every game, is if you wanted to check, you can check, but you know what rewards you're waiting to pop up. And that's Ubaldo. We'll see if he gets his P1 after this game. I think he should, because then I can switch on over to Steve Carlton for the next 2 games. And Carlton plus the total bases will get the Phillies done for that Chase Utley. Should be a nice little card. And then I can go ahead and, once I see Chase Utley pop up, I can go ahead and switch out all of the Phillies in the lineup right now and figure out which team's next. And Adam going 3 for 3. by the way. First time he hit a baseball hard. Still to the opposite field, though. I am kind of looking at the Yankees next. Sometimes it's the easiest to just go in order of how they laid them out in the team affinity menu. And that would save me some thinking as well, because I know I have taken a couple at-bats with some Yanks, but I know I still need a lot of total bases with them, so that would be a pretty easy set it and forget it lineup here for the rest of the stream this morning, just to keep things moving. And this is a great time to mention how lovely the setting to just pitch from the stretch has been. I probably talked for about 10 minutes while we were going through a couple of the screens at the start, and then I think on average when I was playing the mini season yesterday, and you do get to play a lot of home games in mini season versus all away games here in Conquest, is that I think on average, if you're scoring a couple runs, like in the 4 to 5 range, I think these 3-inning games take between like 12 and, let's just call it on the high end, 20 minutes, where you can make it move a little faster if you're not scoring 13 runs, but they don't take too long. They can go pretty quick, but once again, that's just reducing the time in between games if you don't have to go look at the menus and do all that kind of stuff, because this can go pretty quick. And I'm just going to leave Ubaldo in here because for lots of a portion of the team affinity grind is the inning pitched counter. And I have yet to test if, like, I was going to throw 2 2/3 with inning Ubaldo here because I took him out of the game, and then I throw a third of an inning with Ubaldo in the next game. I have not done the test to see if that calculates as an inning pitched. I would imagine it does, but I'm not sure. But at this point, when you're up that big, you might as well just leave him in the game. Make sure it counts instead of putting somebody else in the game. And there goes that parallel one pop on Ubaldo, and look at that. There goes the Rockies done. Now, I do have a little sheet of paper beside me. I'll just go ahead and write down that the Rocks are done. I can cross out the stats I needed for them on the piece of paper that's beside me. And we'll just keep it moving. And I'm sure my real grinders will have noticed this by now, is they did speed up the simulation speed of these conquest games. And everybody's biggest gripe at the start of MLB the Show 26 was that the menus were slow and all that stuff and clunky, and there was definitely a little bit of a learning curve when it came to the menus. In the first, well, it is kind of crazy. So I did buy the early access version. I did get the digital deluxe for my 4 days of early play, and this would be officially week 2 of the whole release launch. And it hasn't been perfect, but it feels like the menus are cleaned up now. Every once in a while you do get one that takes an extra 4 or 5 seconds to load in, but fingers crossed and knock on wood. Played a couple co-op games two days ago, played three 3v3 ranked seasons co-op games, and once again, fingers crossed, knock on wood, didn't get any disconnects in those games. I haven't been disconnected from the menus or disconnected from any offline grinding here in a little bit, which is a good feeling, because me and my co-op friends, we always say, and I think the proof is in the pudding, that people enjoy the gameplay, people enjoy the live content of this game. Now, it can be a little RNG, fluky, have a game not go your way, but I think it balances out with the games you do have games go your way. But for the most part, I think people have fun playing this video game, and I know I certainly enjoy playing this video game. And all people want is for the game to function. And I even think that when the disconnects are really, really bad, and hopefully they can continue to get better, because disconnects and freeze-offs have been in the game since 2018. So it's got its history. If the game just lets you play it, I think you're having fun. And I think it's really as simple as that. And I do think that all sports franchises, but especially this one, since everyone gripes that it's the same game year after year after year, and I understand why people feel that way. I think just the negativity is what I don't like. And it's not like they're paying me money, man. I'll let you know if I'm getting disconnected or some stuff that shouldn't be happening is happening. They should hear it, because if you don't know something's going on, you can't fix it. But if they let you play the game, you're doing all right. And this was the point I was trying to make. I think sports games should move away from the annual release model, and they should go more towards like the Escape from Tarkov model, the Fortnite model. I don't know enough about Arc Raiders, but I can imagine that lots of these extraction shooters games, and what they should do is just release a game. And I feel the same way about like Farm Simulator. Just go the way of The Sims. Like, it's the same bones, right? You're not talking about right, Kami. It's the same bones, it's the same foundation. We're used to a reset anyway, right? The best part of a new game, especially when you like doing the fantasy card collecting team building mode, is we're used to a reset anyway. So make a game with good bones and a good foundation, call it MLB the Show, and do the same thing. March whatever, say, hey, we're clearing everybody's account. Maybe they already do it now with the carryover stuff, with the now and later packs. And like the Carlos Beltran is reset it, come up with something that rewards people for playing the game the previous year, hit the reset button on everybody, give them some of those carryover rewards, and go again. I mean, you already have a live content team. Nothing would be changing with their job. Now, I do know absolutely nothing about coding and programming and video game development and all that stuff, but I'm sure some extra time on a project to make engine changes, huge graphical changes. Now, graphics is always the number one gripe for people who say it's the same game. And does it look the prettiest? No. I do think they have made the fields themselves look pretty good. I think the props look good. I think their stadium scans look good. Last year they made the dirt a little bit more dynamic, which was a nice change. All of these things. But I think if you picked an average baseball fan and you showed them the picture of the MLB the Show players shot of their everyday players, I have a feeling they could probably point out to you who is who, as long as they actually know the roster of their team. Like, I think the player models look fine. I think the face scans, as long as the guy has a face scan, look good. All of these things, you know. And there's always room for improvement. I'm not saying they don't need to improve, but the animations look clean. I can tell you which player is who, for the most part. Like I said, unless it's a rookie or a guy that they haven't got a face scan in, then they can look a little wonky, but that's why they need time. That's why they need time. It takes more than 7 months of development to make massive major improvements in some of this stuff. And that just brings me right back. The disconnects and the server instability is ridiculous. At least when it comes to online disconnects and stuff like that. And the freeze-offs. Thankfully, most of the people that I play co-ops game with now is we've hit the stage where, unless it's the last game of the night and the people we were playing were particularly annoying, as it's like, let's just bounce from the freeze-off and hop in another game. I was just getting ready to say, let's go ahead and score another run, because nothing is more annoying than an extra innings conquest game, and JT read my thoughts. He said, here you go. But since I got time, and since it's the first time I'm doing this, I'll go ahead and switch over to, instead of just talking about whatever's on top of my head, I'll go ahead and try and hit some baseballs and score a couple extra runs, just to see what that feels like. Well, and those were 3 awful pitches, but 3 straight perfects always feels good, and that's even some of these guys. Now Trey could probably get a plaque in Cooperstown just for his MLB the Show swing, and I feel the opposite way about Kyle Schwarber. I feel like I really struggle with Schwarber for the most part. He hasn't gotten a ton of swings for me here in this game, and now that I'm actually thinking about what's been going on in this game, is Schwarber did get the party started with that opposite field homer. It kind of was on approach to that foul pole, but right now all I can think of, oh my gosh, is I know the Schwarber card that I gave a decent amount of runtime in MLB the Show 25 was that, I can't remember if it was like the rated prospect card series or the prospect pipeline series or something like that. I know everybody hated that content drop. There was that Cubs Kyle Schwarber that could catch, and I think he got a fair amount of runtime for me. And I could not hit a lick with that card. And then I also did not take any hacks with the WBC Schwarber from this year. I unlocked that card when his market was a little bit higher, and especially with cards like that, is if you're in the first 20-ish% of people to unlock a card that's sellable through the XP reward path and stuff like that is you might as well move off of it, sell it, and just buy it back. Once 80% of people or 90% of people who play this game and play Diamond Dynasty and stuff have unlocked it, I think I sold my Yamamoto that you get from wherever. Can't remember if it was the XP reward path or the multiplayer program, but there was a Yamamoto somewhere. I sold him for somewhere in the 17 to 19k range, and I just bought him back for 8k yesterday. And now the boys are trying to blow the game. Trey gave out a routine single, a routine infield single. Ronald was playing that ball in right field. Now, I'm going to give a terrible pitch. Throw a better pitch. But, let's go ahead and leave Bender in here. We're on veteran. I have a feeling Bender can get one strikeout. Got a sneaking suspicion this will be the pitch right here. Hopefully he doesn't put it in play. Alright. One out away. Murakami got the White Sox offense going with that big fly out of right field, but alright. Wasting time. And now, I have not went and watched. I know Murakami hit a home run in his White Sox debut, and I have not went and watched that highlight yet. So I'll probably go try and find that sometime this fine Saturday morning, or later in the day. I don't know. And let's go ahead and try and score a couple more runs here. Swing at some strikes, because an extra inning conquest game is avoidable. That's it. I could have just put a new pitcher in for Murakami or walked him, and this game could have been over. But trying to get this team affinity progress, man. And Vargas goes ahead and makes a nice play on us. And then you take an awful hack. And that's gonna hang up there, so this is what you do not want to happen, people. And I'm not losing this game, because even worse than having to play an extra innings conquest game is losing an extra inning conquest game, where you have to hop right back in here. And this is probably just a good litmus test that just yapping too much. Now, I have hit some baseballs hard that have gone for outs, but as you saw in game number 1 versus the Cardinals, just score some runs, people. then it's like, I start pitching, and it's like, I just want to talk about other stuff. Like, I can't tell you the last time you had to really think and care about what pitch you were throwing to the CPU. As long as it's not going straight down Broadway, you're good to go. And let's see if we can go ahead and get this punch out here. And, oh, staying alive. Get the boys back into the dugout and back in the batter's box. All right. And JT's the one who gave us the lead. There's another good swing for an out. At least it was a productive one. And I did see with the stats there that Ronald does have 9 homers. And offline, go ahead and give Schwarber some love here and see if we can hit another baseball hard with him. Since I said that, I don't know if I'm really that big of a fan of Schwarber or not. And it kind of comes down to that I like toolsier players. And Schwarber's hit tool is in the top 5% of hitters in the league, for sure. His hit tool is. But those other tools in the bag are down there. And let's try and take one more good hack with Richard Allen here. He was a new legend in 25, and he got a handful of cards. I can't remember where. I know he got the Hall of Fame card at the end of the year, and that card was a beast. But I can't remember if his first card, I want to say it was a cornerstone card. But that first Richard Allen last year, and he had a silver. There was a silver that was a demon. But Richard Allen has got one of those swings that is undeniable. I'd say it's in the same vein as his fellow Phillies organization companion Trey Turner. They both have quick swings, short arms, and let me tell you, they can pull a foul ball, or they can pull a fly ball. Alright. I think this lead's gonna hold, so let's just take an ugly at bat with whoever's next and try and get out of here, because this game has taken too much time. Too much time. I'll go ahead and just get a new arm in here. And this feels like a lovely opportunity. Oh wait, I pitched with Ubaldo. Ubaldo finished the Colorado Rockies team affinity. Oh well. Let's go ahead and get Jimmy his lone appearance. in a conquest game on the season. And then back to the binder with Jimmy. And last but not least, I hope, Reagan. He did not. Let's try again. Staying alive. Sinker right under it. Good take. Thank you, Luis Angel. And just because I'm thinking about it, I will go ahead and scroll down on the progress screen and see where we're at with the fills. I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to be just short, but I haven't been paying attention. Looking for Phillies. Okay, that's what I was looking for. So just got a pitch with Steve, and we'll come over here. That 100 Phillies total bases popped. And let's get some Orioles in here. And I'm thinking, I said the Yankees. That would be the least amount of work, but okay, I've got enough Yankees. We'll go Lombard. We'll go Soriano. Jazz can play third. Don't have a catcher. I do have a catcher. Austin Wells is down here. And Stanton or Judge. Stanton or Judge. Or Bernie. Let's go Bernie. He's a little bit more dynamic. And I do think let's move the Orioles up. And then we can have our string of Yankees after them. Just to get a little bit of lefty-righty mix in there. We'll go like that. We'll go like that. Soriano, I don't know if I love him or I hate him. So he can chill in the 9-hole. Pretty much feel the same way about Jazz. We can get Ubaldo out of here. And I'll just put Eflin in. Got lots of innings to fill outside of Eflin, and we can send Jimmy back to the gulag because I do not think he is needed anymore. Quick look at the list. Got a White Sox reliever in there, a Twin, a National. Let's just look there. Got some other innings to fill first. Alright. Twins relievers are awful. Is there a surprise National reliever in there? Nope. Gotta be a good reliever on the Giants. Alright. Already set the lineup. Got innings to pitch. And we'll go right back to it. Alright, one last stronghold here in the Central. And I'll use this opportunity to talk about something else. Now, I've already talked about some real life MLB happenings. I will say I did fall asleep to the Dodgers game yesterday, and the Dodgers are my favorite team. They are my favorite team. And that's because my father is a West Coast sports fan. He was of the age of Bird versus Magic being the best thing in the NBA, and his best friend that he had growing up was a Bird fan, which meant my dad was a Magic fan and a Lakers fan, and he passed that West Coast sports fandom along to me. And so the first baseball game I had was MLB the Show 2K11. That was the one with the Philly on the front cover. Pretty sure it was Doc Holliday. And so I played my fair share of that game on the Xbox 360. And that was a good game, and that's why I like pinpoint pitching. And it was fun. And I remember one day being tiny, and I couldn't time up anything because I was a bum and tiny. And a dude kept throwing like 80-mile-per-hour changeups, and this was the CPU, and I just could not time it up because I was late. And I was like, there's no way I'm late. He's throwing 80. But I just must not have been hitting the button. But in that game, from what I can remember of the Dodgers lineup, since I was telling you where my Dodgers fandom came from, is I know that was like the Juan Uribe, James Loney, Andre Ethier. Can't remember. I know Utley was a little bit later than that. He definitely was still a Philly then, but Ethier, Loney, Furcal was the shortstop I was looking for. On the pitching staff, obviously Kershaw was still there. And so Kershaw, I remember Ryu was in that pitching staff. Can't remember any relievers, but does anybody? But that was kind of the first Dodgers team that I can think of. Uribe, Furcal, Loney, Ethier, Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Kemp. There we go. There was a nice little list off of names there. So that was the first team I can remember. Now, probably 2015, 2016, 2017 were the years where I really started liking baseball. And at that time, I really did only care about the Dodgers. And it must have been 16 or 17 is on Twitter. I started following the OKC Dodgers, the AAA affiliate of the Dodgers, and I can remember, and this is my favorite player in the league, but I can remember that the Bellinger hype was coming to a head before he finally got called up. So I remember watching the Cody Bellinger call-up video where he gets called into the office and he got told he was going to the show. And then shortly after Bellinger is Lux came up, and there was one more lefty in that same little vein. I'm almost thinking Jock, but I know Jock is maybe it was Jock. But there were three lefties that got called up right next to each other. And then obviously Bellinger got his hardware in his first couple of years. Rookie of the Year, won MVP in 2019. Lux was somebody that we all had big hopes for, and honestly, I mean, he's carved out a pretty good MLB career. I think his approach at the plate is just very impressive, and definitely he's one of those guys that I'm sure his on base percentage always looks pretty. Lux, that is, but Bellinger's my all-time favorite player. Just because I can remember that call-up video and all that good stuff. Now, Shohei probably is my favorite player in the league right now, but I mean, you gotta appreciate greatness. I'll tell you what, though. Steve Carlton is kind of getting shelled. Let's see if Ronnie got it. Nope. Might just be a one inning little showing from Mr. Carlton here. Because I am tired of giving up runs. I am going to try and acquire the lead in the second inning, though, before somebody else comes in the pitch. So Carlton can get credited for the win and get that PXP for being the pitcher in line for the win and collecting the win, but less important than that is not playing another extra innings conquest game. And one of my favorite things about Bellinger's career is he's one of those people where baseball has taken him places. I mean, World Series hero in 2020, obviously Seager won MVP, but lots of people can tell you about Bellinger's 2020 postseason. Robbed a couple home runs in Texas since they were playing neutral site games with the COVID restrictions and all that stuff. But what I mean by baseball has taken Bellinger places is that he has played solely for like the 3 biggest market teams in the MLB. And I know I can't remember if he was a Florida or a California person. I know the Little League World Series stuff was a kind of Bellinger's first exposure to lots of people. I know that lots of those clips have surfaced. And since his dad was an ex-pro as well, all of these things. But started in LA, off to Chicago, signed a couple prove-it deals, and now he's got his big money extension in New York, where I'm sure Belly's having a pretty good time. And speaking of those Yankees, there goes their young super prospect George Lombard Jr. First tack I've ever taken with him. No juice burning. Two tough lineups though. But I will shift because Mr. Jazz, while we're still in Yankee land, Jazz has been a staple of me and my father's fantasy baseball team for a couple seasons now. This will be year 3 of Jazz in our keeper league. And I like Jazz, good baseball player. I don't think really anybody can deny that. Big personality, and I almost think it's kind of him being in Yankee land with Judge as the captain. and that their personalities are quite different, is Jazz in Miami. I think his vibe fit Miami a little bit more with the flashy colors and the bravado with which he carries himself, which is fine. I think it's just a little interesting. It just feels like his vibe's a little different than Judge, and especially when you think about the history of the Yankees. And definitely gonna have to step away for a minute or two after this game. Just take a small little break. But the goal was achieved. Scored a couple runs. Ronald doing his thing still. Got Carlton in line for the win. And since we got a couple, I will give him one base runner. And then I am taking him out of this baseball game because I am trying to keep this party moving. And real Shelfie, the Phillies fan. Now, Steve Carlton was a new legend in the game last year. And pitch mix gross, delivery gross, all of those good things. And then he had that card that was a World Series reward late in the year. It was the milestone blue and red Steve Carlton card. Maybe it wasn't a World Series award. It might have been an inning boss. But the fact that that man on that milestone card had the stats that he had, 27 wins and a ridiculous ERA, it was a triple crown card. When Shelfie, the Phillies fan, said that Steve Carlton won the triple crown with that stats and had 27 pitching wins on a 100 loss team, pretty baffling. Pretty crazy. And all right. And Cade Smith is one of these cards, man, where he's got good numbers, he's got good break, he throws the baseball hard. He just does not have the pitch mix for online play. Even as a gold, I think you could bring Cade Smith in for like 2 outs, and anything after that, you're probably getting lucky more than he's having a good outing. Gold Glover Dansby across the diamond. Pete hitting another baseball hard. Before I go take a little short break and just blow my nose, use the restroom, all that kind of stuff, I will go check in on the Orioles total base count because I do not know where I was at prior to that, and I feel like Adam Jones, Taylor Ward, and Pete have been producing, so I'll go check that after this game. And before we make our way over to the west side, the largest side of the USA Conquest map. And the production continues. Alright, and we are 3 outs away from finishing the central part of the USA Conquest map. And this is when I look over at the clock and look over at the timer. It's like still under the hour and a half mark. With some yapping, with some program checking in and all that good stuff. And this will be our third 3-inning game. Is still under an hour and a half even with all that. And really what I'm trying to make sure, and maybe I'll even only do like half of the West map or something, is I think the packs are the hottest early weekend mornings, man. My pack luck in the show 25 was impeccable. SDS was throwing me a lot of bones all last year. And I think it's because most of the packs I were opening were early weekend mornings, man. I think there's some magic in that. The central portion of the USA map has been completed. And we're going to have our fingers crossed that Chase Utley is going to pop up on the screen and Steve Carlton goes parallel 1. Along with, we'll check in on the Orioles 100 total base tracker. Alright. So, Carlton gets one more game. Adam Jones just went P1 though. Alright, Adam Jones went P1. 28 total bases away from the Orioles. And we'll go ahead and finish filling out the lineup with Yankees. And alright, 2 strikeouts away with Guardians, but still needs 6 innings. And a 2-inning start from Carlton, and the next one should get us there. But central map complete. 10 more show packs. Liam Doyle, restart that. I'll put us on the West map, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Alright. We will keep this moving right along. So, on the West map, Dodgers outfielder Zaire Hope. Mariners infielder Colt Emerson are the prizes at the end of the rainbow on this one. And along with that, no sell pack, which with those additions, I should be able to acquire the Spring Breakout Collection Reward, Connor Griffin. You probably saw earlier, if you were looking, I did get the event programmed for Leo DeVries done. So I've got him working towards that collection. We're looking for a 2-inning start from Carlton here. 28 total bases for the Orioles in the lineup. And then, like I said, I know I got a lot of time on the Yankees total base counter. I saw a couple missions popped on that last one. The homer counter and the run counter, but 28 total bases with the O's. I'm guessing that'll probably take us like 3 or 4 more games, depending on how the offense is rolling. And definitely with the Rocks here, should be able to get 2 innings out of Carlton and probably make some damage on the total base counter for the Yankees and the Orioles. And I don't know, can people say the Rockies are trying? They signed a couple veteran starting pitchers this year, including this one, Mr. Quintana, as Ronald does what Ronald does. They got Quintana, they got Sagano. Also, I know they're still quite hopeful on that young arm Dolander, who throws cheddar. Where they also brought in Willie Castro. I think that's all I got. While I think the biggest draw to the Rocky Stadium is the stadium itself and probably the amenities they have within the stadium. Which while we're on the stadium side of the topic, is Colorado is one of the remaining handful of MLB stadiums I haven't been to. I've been quite lucky to get to travel to over 2/3 of the stadiums in Major League Baseball to this point, and just for a while now, obviously, just the way math works is once you hit the 15 mark, is technically it's faster or once you hit the 16 mark, technically it's faster to list the stadiums you haven't been to than the ones you have been to, but I'm over the 20 hump, and it actually is much faster for me to list the ones I haven't been to than the ones I have been to. So the stadiums I have not been to are some of the ones in the central portion of the United States of America. Now, the closest one that I need to check off the list is the Chicago White Sox. Whenever I've been in Chicago, which has probably only been like twice, is the White Sox have not been in town and the Cubs have been in town. So I've been to Wrigley, but I need to see Guaranteed Rate Field. I need to see Chase Stadium in Arizona. I need to see Coors Field in Colorado. I need to attend Daikin Park in Houston. I need to attend the Rogers Center in Toronto. I need to see wherever the Oakland Athletics will be playing. I did not have the opportunity to see the Coliseum while it was in action. And I have a feeling, pick me. Nope. That probably won't see them until their permanent home in Vegas is constructed. And I need to see... Okay. I'm telling you, man. Steve Carlton, he's better versus real people than the CPU. Now, once again, that was a fastball right down Broadway, but you're the CPU, man. You're not supposed to score runs. So, Toronto, Arizona, Colorado, Houston, Sacramento / Las Vegas, and I'm pretty sure that's it. Chicago, Arizona, Toronto, Colorado. So I'm in that 5-6 range now. From seeing a good majority of them. And a number of these parks, I was younger when we went to them, but I can still tell you something about them. That's for sure. And honestly, it almost makes playing this game a little bit sweeter, and it makes watching baseball a little bit sweeter. That's when I was watching the WBC final, during the opening ceremony, they had a DJ, and I forget which pool they were supposed to be representing culturally, but right where the DJ was set up, by that little bar, wavy looking cruise ship building that they have in left center field in Miami, as I was like, I've pretty much stood where that DJ is performing right now, which is pretty cool. And just something that is so awesome about baseball stadiums that none of the other sports get is that every stadium's got its own thing rocking, you know? Different dimensions, different history. Has it been here for a long time, a short time? When you're at some of the expansion franchise places, is it's like KC. Now, I'll say Seattle, but one of my favorite YouTube docs on this website is the SB Nation Mariners documentary, where it's literally called The Entire History of the Seattle Mariners, where I would 10 out of 10 recommend anybody watching that if you like baseball even slightly. But what's funny about that is literally the point of the documentary is that it's just good storytelling, not even good baseball storytelling, where I think really anybody could watch it. Alright, we're gonna leave Steve in here and see if he can freaking get 3 outs without trouble stirring up. But it was pretty cool. Is Oracle Park in San Francisco and T-Mobile Park in Seattle were the last 2 new baseball stadiums we checked off the list this previous summer. And it was pretty awesome to be in that stadium after watching that documentary all of the times that I have, because while I do love it, it also has been my sleep aid since they released it. And sitting next to the statue of Dave Niehaus, knowing what he meant to that franchise, and seeing that sign, bring out the rye bread and mustard, it's a grand salami, like sitting in that little thing that they have dedicated to him, that little photo opportunity, it was pretty freaking cool. And that's all I'll say. And then obviously the pitching matchup, we were watching them play somebody, the Pirates. We were watching a Mariners-Pirates game in Seattle, and it was the most Mariner-Pirates game in 2025 you could ever think of. Now, Skeens wasn't on the mound for the Pirates, but Luis Castillo was pitching for the Mariners, and the game was a low-scoring affair, but it was cool. Cal had hit 2 home runs the night previous in his march to 60. And I know the Pirates intentionally walked him once or twice and were pitching very careful. And we watched Randy strike out 4 times, even though he's a stud. That's just baseball. And now that I'm looking at the scoreboard, it's time to score some runs before I have to waste more time in Conquest. Alright. I'm hopeful Ronald's gonna keep us in this game here, man. Okay, he extended the inning. Adam Jones, you're leaving a good impression in my head right now. This could get you some playing time on the ranked season squad. Kind of just looking to pull a fly ball here. Could have done it. Ronald's going to be in motion, protecting the plate. Alright, I'm going to take that as a sign, because I have maybe lost 2 conquest games in the last 2 years. I'm going to take that as a sign, I'm going to chalk that one up to I'm live streaming. Really, even when I'm playing co-op games, as it's not like we're sitting here hosting a podcast, you know? So, I'm going to take that as a sign that, especially if I'm playing ranked. Now, I've been reading about this, that people are having issues with the XP roll. Now, it's predetermined anyway, so I'll go check the inventory and see if we actually got something or not. But I'm going to take that as a sign to not yap as much. Alright, there's what we would have gotten from the XP reward path roll. Where I think I'm going to open these packs. I'm going to probably call it a morning session right there. And rip these packs while it's still 7:02 a.m. Got a decent number, got 100 standards, got that chase pack from the XP reward path roll. I'll probably go ahead and start with this no-sell spring breakout pack once I'm done ripping these. Alright, done picking the jerseys, open the silver pack. Spencer Torkelson, he turned it on a little bit last year. Alright, just looking for new on this one. Might as well take the old supercharged JJ. Anybody else calling out to me? Well, if I'm hitting with Glaber, I might as well take Max Clark if working on the Tigers is going to be something I do in the near future. Alright, we'll rip this. Looking for an 89. Didn't get it. Now I do know Nola's just quick sell value, so I'll go ahead and pop that. And now, at this point, we got 103 standards from mini seasons, conquest, and the variety of other places in this game. 27 ballin' as a habit packs, and 1 chase pack 2 with Adley Rushman in the back half. Now I will treat this like it's podcast time and try and talk about some players. Zach Littell going for 800 stubs. Now, I do kind of like to open my packs a little bit slower than some people who just like to hit the X button and hope it brings them to the diamond. I think there is some joy in just clicking over and seeing it. Now, we're looking for any new threads pools. We're looking for any live series diamonds. Still working on the collections on that side. And I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of new bronzes, a lot of new silvers. Still got lots of space for those guys in the inventory, which is lovely. And I do like going through, especially at this point where I do hope they keep the exchange tab as something that they keep adding stuff in, because by the end of the year, and I was completely no money spent last year, I had unlocked like 3,000 show packs, I think the report card said, and by the end of the year, with all of those free cards, okay, now, I said this in my pack opening video, that I thought you could quick sell the ones from the thing, but now that I know that you can't do that, and now that I know that there are more jerseys in those packs than picks you get, is now I know that you can just quick sell every diamond jersey you pull, because I cannot imagine that they put jerseys in this game that are not in those jersey choice packs, because that just sounds dumb. Is selling the cards on the app to build your stub bank up is that's a nice little brainless thing that you can do on your phone from time to time if you got a little free time, waiting for a doctor's appointment or anything like that. Like, go ahead and sell your duplicates, man. But I am not that invested where I'm going to try and sell every duplicate I pull. I try and only sell the stuff that has a little bit of value to it. Like, I'm not one that's out here listing bronzes for freaking 28 stubs with a sell order, where I hope they keep the exchange tab as something that they update, maybe even seasonally, that you can bail on lots of these duplicates that you end up getting throughout the year and have no money on the no value on the market. All right, I'm gonna go through about 11 more, and then I'll try out what people say. They say you gotta rip them through the my inventory screen, man. You gotta rip them through the my inventory screen. I know we've all seen that. But these first 55 have not been the hottest. Not a good litmus test for my early morning pack opening theory. But every time I scroll over and see new, I think it's a good sign, because especially since I'm currently at the team affinity grinding stage, that the more options you have in your inventory to go through this, the better. All right, let's go ahead and we're in the my inventory screen now, so let's go ahead and switch over. Let's open 7 of these Fallen as a Habit packs. Got a little bit better odds towards the diamond. Then we'll wrap the last 50 bundle of the show packs. There goes our first double gold. Matt Strom's a beast. Hopefully they throw him a flashback card here for something, because that boy is a beast. All right. The diamond equipment's flying this morning, but we want to see blue on this right card, man. You gotta show people that grinding the free packs is worth it. MLB the Show. Brandon Woodruff making his third appearance. There goes one of my favorite names in the MLB, Daysbel Hernandez. He is my favorite example. He's a reliever for the Braves, or at least he was. Who knows? Caleb Durbin, he got traded to the Red Sox. Daysbel is my favorite example of, oh, that guy you've never heard of and you will never remember. He can throw a baseball 100 miles an hour. There goes Langford, nice gold. Horner, nice gold. Good value picks. Both those guys always have some diamond potential, especially if Horner hits for some pop. Langford, he has got the hearts of lots of MLB fans for his just overall general athleticism. Ottavino, he'll get picked up by somebody. Tommy Edman waiting on his ankle to heal. And Hae-Sung Kim, they said, not yet, buddy. Kwon, potential trade candidate this year. Other diamond equipment. WBC gold. I'll just list that one later. Hey, even if it's a bronze, if I see new right now, we're coolin'. Joey Ortiz. Ashby. Barry Perez. Could see the Marlins moving off him. Gavin Stone. John Boy Media. Warehouse legend. His brother, obviously. Can't remember the brother's first name right now because he is doing stuff for the Savannah Bananas and their little fun baseball league now. Alright, down to the last 13. And Ahar had him in a BR run, that's why he's P1. Nice little DH bench bet platoon option. Nolan Gorman, I remember his Future Stars card. Him and Nolan Jones both had huge pop. Jack Caglione, he could be someone who's on Gold Watch this year. Big pop, another diamond equipment. The Twins Superdome. Kumar Rocker, go Vandy Boys. Robert Garcia, this all new. Ozzy, one of my favorite swings in the game. Brandon Valenzuela. Zach Gallen. Diamondbacks just said, come home, buddy. Alright, and there goes 100 standard packs with no diamonds. Alright, odds-wise, we're a bit behind the ball, but that's okay. Double gold pack, that's money. There we go. First diamond pop. 90 plus or new. 90 plus or new. Alright, that's new. There goes 50% of the Orioles Live Series Collection Diamonds with Pete. Brandon Woodruff, hello again. Jose Altuve, probably a future Hall of Famer. Neto and Springer, two guys on opposite ends of the age spectrum. Double Nico Horner pack. Good value gold there. Shea Langoliers. I feel like everybody just is going to associate the Oakland A's commentators' calls of him for the rest of his career. Willie Adames. He was on the fantasy team last year. Shota and Jazz. Two lefties. Second diamond pop here. Alright. Blue or new. Blue or new. Another purple. Hunter Brown. And another new. Alright, as long as we're checking those boxes. But Supercharged Andy Pajes. Alright. Third Live Series diamond here. Newer blue. And there's a good one, ladies and gentlemen. There's a good one. There's a good one. Jordan. Absolute freak. And good value diamond pull there. Ellie might hold on to him. Hopefully he'll have a big year. last four Ballin' is a Habit packs here. More new Brian Reynolds, Ivan Herrera. I know people like his stick. I would like to check in with Brian Reynolds' under the hood numbers for why he was so bad last year. There goes another new Astro. Gold in the second card, Devers and Hunter Goodman. Honestly, surprised he's a gold already, but he had the best offensive Rocky season from a catcher ever in his first year. And last but not least, now, hopefully we can end off this early bird special with a hit. The standard packs were cold. The Ballin' is a Habit packs came through. Now, at this point in the year, all we're hoping for is blue at a minimum. Blue at a minimum. Alright. I had that suspicion, but that Jordan pull definitely came through. And let's go ahead and just go check on that Astros collection. Because we pulled Brown, pulled Jordan, got Altuve, got Correa. So, Hader, Pena, gold reliever, and then just a couple bronzes and silvers. But there's the big ticket right there, man. And then, oh my gosh. Now, Shelfie just talked about this in his Pack Squad video. I hadn't cared enough to check yet, but if you hit X while you're holding on the overview screen of a player, this is what their base stats looks like. You hit X, this is what the inside edge boost is doing for that player today. So Jordan is plus 12 versus righties or versus lefties today. Oh my gosh, what a freak. Jordan's plus 12 versus lefties today. 40K pull brought us through, which means we're Hader, whose market's dropping, and Jeremy Pena, who's cheap. We are just a couple, probably like 20K away from being done with the Astros, so they'll probably be the next team I target. And then I just noticed that, wait, I've got Vlad. Oh, I don't have Vlad. Oh, well. Alright, I'll sell some duplicates. I'll probably buy the rest of the Astros. I'll probably buy the rest of the Angels, which means we will be the Mariners, which big money. Cal Raleigh here, 80K. Julio, Gilbert, and Wu, who are cheaper diamonds, and Seager and DeGrom away from our first whole division collection, but that's pretty cool. Okay, now this is my first time looking at this page since the roster update. I have lots of these collections done already, so I don't really love that they said, hey, you're not done anymore, because that's why you get these done, people. Oh, okay, so the check mark is still there. The check mark's still there. That's good to know. Well, anyway, I think that was a successful first live stream. I think that was a successful first little foray into this, which was cool. Got some stuff done. Ripped some packs. Got some good pulls. All this good stuff. And I don't know, man. I'm gonna just keep seeing how this stuff's going. And I knew probably nobody was gonna be watching this early in the morning, especially on some random stream. But who knows? We'll keep going. We'll keep seeing where this can go. But I will see you guys.